Have you ever worked for a boss who just made you feel smarter, more capable than you ever thought you were? And, have you had the opposite? A leader who just kind of sucks the energy and intelligence right out of the room? Well, let's get into this, because this difference isn't an accident. It's a choice between two very different leadership styles, and honestly, understanding it can completely transform a team.
So on one side, you've got what are called multipliers. These are the leaders who amplify the smarts of everyone around them. They challenge you, they trust you, and they give you the room you need to do your best work. And then on the other side, you've got diminishers. Now here's the crazy part. A lot of these diminishers are totally accidental. They have good intentions, but they think they have to be the smartest person in the room, so they micromanage and they end up just stifling all that talent. The impact between the two, it's just massive.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. To really see it in action, let's dive into the powerful, real-world story of a Navy sailor named Derek.
So Derek graduates at the top of his electronics class. I mean, this guy was brilliant. But his first boss? A total diminisher. During these super high-stakes missile exercises, this boss would literally stand inches away, just barking commands, never trusting Derek to do his job. Under that kind of smothering pressure, Derek's performance just tanked. It got so bad he was actually removed from his post. All that potential just completely shut down.
But then, everything changed. A new commander comes in, a multiplier. He sees Derek's file, sees the potential, and gives him a second chance. He puts Derek right back on the controls and says 4 simple but game-changing words. "I'm counting on you." And that was it. No micromanaging, just a simple statement of trust and belief.
And the result? It was incredible. Derek's performance just skyrocketed. He started setting new missile exercise records and eventually rose all the way to the rank of lieutenant commander. I mean, think about that. It was the same person with the exact same talent. The only thing that changed was the leader. It just proves that people can either flourish or totally flounder, and it all depends on who's leading them.
Okay, so how do we become more like Derek's second commander? Well, it all starts not with what you do, but with what you believe. It's all about adopting what's called the multiplier mindset.
So, the multiplier mindset is really this core assumption that your team is smart and they'll figure things out. It's this deep-down belief that they are just packed with talent and great ideas that are waiting to be unlocked. Without this foundation, any of the techniques we're about to talk about will just feel fake, and they'll fail. It is absolutely the essential starting point.
All right, so once that mindset is locked in place, then you could start putting it into practice. And this is done through 5 key disciplines that multipliers use over and over again to bring out the absolute best in their teams.
We can actually simplify these down to the 5 S's to make them easy to remember. First, you spot people's unique genius. Then, you set bigger challenges to stretch them. You stage debates to tap into everyone's intelligence. You stop solving all the problems for them. And finally, you always shift ownership back to the team.
Let's unpack this a little. Spotting is all about finding that thing people do so well, so naturally, they might not even see it as a skill. Setting is about framing these huge, almost mission impossible goals that force the team to grow. Staging debates means you're not the hero with the answer. You're the person who sets up a great discussion. Stopping just means you coach more and solve less. And shifting? That's about offering your help, but always making it crystal clear that they, not you, are in the driver's seat.
Let's zoom in on one of these. Setting bigger challenges. There's a great story about Matt McCauley, the president of a struggling retail business. He turned the whole company around with one single question to his leaders. What's your mission impossible? He asked for a wild aspiration, something that would demand 100% of their team's best thinking.
So by setting these huge missions and then fully backing his teams, he basically unleashed this massive wave of innovation and energy. And the result? Get this. The very next year, the company's stock price shot up by an insane 72%. That is the power of stretching a team with a challenge they can really get behind.
Okay, let's look at another one. Staging debates. When a big, risky decision comes up, a diminisher might retreat to their office and try to figure it out alone. A multiplier? They do the exact opposite. They pull all their best thinkers into a room and orchestrate a really tough, rigorous debate to make sure every single angle is covered.
And they don't just let people state their opinions. They push for deeper thinking with amazing questions like this one. What evidence would actually change your mind on this? A question like that just forces everybody to challenge their own assumptions, and it leads to a way smarter, way more solid decision in the end.
Another huge discipline is stopping that urge to solve everything yourself.
When someone on your team brings you a problem, a multiplier resists the temptation to just give them the answer. Instead, they master this really simple but powerful phrase. I don't know. What do you think? This little response does two incredible things at once. It builds the other person's confidence, and it trains them to become a problem solver themselves.
So when you bring all of this together, the mindset, these 5 disciplines, what's the real payoff? What's the fundamental difference between these two kinds of leaders at the end of the day?
It really boils down to this. Diminishers believe their value comes from their own intelligence, so they rely on themselves. But multipliers, they believe their value comes from unlocking and using the intelligence of their entire team. They don't need to be the smartest person in the room. Their job is to make everyone else in the room smarter. So the real question this leaves us with is a personal one. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how much intelligence you can bring out in other people. So as you go about your day, just think about your own interactions. Whose genius are you going to unlock?